Hey, everyone, and welcome back to the Champions Podcast. We are so glad to have the guest we have today. He has just been on the move with the stuff that he's doing lately and is so impactful to the community. And so we're going to let him share what he is up to. And his name is Parker. And so we're going to let him take it away. So welcome to the podcast.
Hey there, thanks for having me. Yeah, my name is Parker. I'm a college student from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, and for the summertime, I'm doing an internship called Southwestern Advantage. This is my second summer doing it. And what I get to do is live out here with a host family in Conway for the time being. And I've been assigned the district of the St. James schools to work through. And I get to sell this educational system of books and apps that cover academics, faith, and life and leadership for families with all the way from little toddlers and babies doing early learning, reading comprehension, all the way up through high schoolers saving time with their schoolwork and getting the best chances at scholarships and building a resume. But yeah, so I it's a 160-year-old internship, and this is my second summer doing it. So last year I was in North Carolina. This summer I'm in South Carolina. Well, yeah, so I'm out here for the summertime doing this internship where I basically get to meet the community. I get to run my own business. I'm an independent contractor, um, and I manage a Facebook presence, which is Thomas Heather came across president. Um, Doug Joy were one of my customers a couple weeks ago. Might have been just 2 weeks ago. They picked up two Bible sets for their grandkids. But my job is really cool. I basically get to sit down with families for 20, 30 minutes, talk about life, ask some questions, show some samples, have a lot of different products to offer. And I basically get to practice this servant selling is one big thing that Southwestern preaches. So my job is simply to just meet people, hear their stories, see what kind of helps them out the most. And if I can help serve that family, great. But if not, skip on down the road, on to the next.
And obviously, you think about the generations has changed with where you said you do apps and the digital content plus the physical copies. And as we know, Champ and I are in our 30s, but as we know that times have changed, a lot of stuff has moved to digital and less physical books, especially for kids these days. What importance has it been to you just to kind of like what kind of got you into that? Because you talk about obviously you're doing the internship, but what kind of got you, I guess, passionate about, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do and not kind of look at me like, oh, I'm just going around trying to, sell books.
Um, well, it is a really funny thing. Honestly, I think it's best to first zoom out and look at the whole internship as a whole. So this is it's a 3 month time that I get to live out here, and I live with a couple other interns. I just left a Sunday meeting from our organization meeting up, and while Southwestern Advantage doesn't exactly like push and sort of on it, it, I work on a week, and face plenty of books and like the additional materials. It is an interesting thing because it's all just something that serves people, serves family. I can control, but yeah, the products that I get to offer, I have a lot of conviction in as well because they really do genuinely benefit families in all kinds of ways. And I mean that's part of like my whole pitch is I sit down with people and I listen to them and hear their stories, and then I show them the certain things that might be able to help their needs. But before I really just diving into like the books and the things itself, like the summer and this job, it's all just a big catalyst for change. don't really focus on units or sales or results as much as we focus on like the character traits that we're building. I think we can't do what we can control and how things later on. And that's been a big thing that I've recently discovered of how to take the pressure off. Because yes, I'm doing a sales job. It's very easy to get into the mindset of like, oh, I'm not producing, I'm not selling, I'm not doing well, I'm unworthy, I'm not respectable, I'm, not validated. But again, putting that all through Christ, I'm already fulfilled. I have everything I need. I don't need anything from anyone I talk to. I go up to everyone I meet with just a pure intentionality to serve them. And that kind of focus, that kind of presence, that kind of intentionality is something that's going to make me a better man, a better husband, a better father to my kids, a better leader to the people who depend on me in the future. I family hour by hour, it all builds up, and it's all just a stepping stone. And I got this later on down the road.
Yeah, that's awesome. Champ, I'm gonna let you ask him a question now.
So when we talk, what do you think? Like, I heard you talk about the fact that you're not in, I mean, you're doing so-called sales, but you're in it with the purest intention of when I go to meet with these people, I am going with the intent of getting to know them, giving a piece of my heart, giving a piece of the story. How do you think that do you think they understand that, or do you think when you go in they automatically just kind of go to that and then it's your job to build that trust?
Well, of course it is my job to build the trust at the door. I mean, doors and catch teams, learning about the community, learning about the school districts and um the sports teams and the churches that people go to. Like it's all a way to build trust. That's also like it's really neat living in a single community. Let me know if I start cutting out here. I'll have to go inside here to get a better connection. Um,
You've been cutting out a little bit, but we can kind of make out what you're saying.
I was just saying it's a great thing to live where I get to work in because I get to learn so much about the kinds of people that I meet. And that's part of the reason like I have all like the names of other folks that I've bought. So I just sit down and tell stories and I connect with other stories like and I think I just connected to the Wi-Fi here, so I'm probably
Yeah,
You did.
back
yeah, you're
good.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Yeah.
good.
But I was just saying when it comes to like the sale, I mean, sales as a transference of feelings is a big thing that's taught in this company. Like I'm not here to just make a buck, make a sale, get something from people. It's called like a buying atmosphere, like giving people the comfortability enough to know that I am here to serve them. Um, and so like whether or not they buy something is totally their decision. So like I tell moms, like, mom, just giving your honest mom opinion. If you think this stuff would be like pretty useful, pretty beneficial for your family, let me know. I can help you order it like some of these other folks. But at the same time, if there's nothing that you like, you don't think you'd use any of it, it wouldn't benefit you guys, just give me a big fat no.
And I think and people probably would say, what's so special about going door to door like that? But I think people need to really recognize society as well when we're thinking about that, because it reminds me of like missionaries that go door to door. And when you go to each door, you don't know what's behind the other door. And when they open it, what person you're going to get, how receptive they are to what you have to say. Are they going to slam the door in your face? I mean, you have to kind of accept all the possibilities when you go up to the door. But would you say, for the most part, so far, you have had a lot of people that are receptive?
No, not at all. The majority of the people I talk to are not happy to see me. But that is also like my initial job when I approach a door is to, introduce myself, uh, build a bit of trust by, connecting some friends, maybe like, down the street, people they know. So and so said you guys are, I was referred to y'all by so and so. They also, I don't know, like connecting names at the door is a good way to build like just trust right off the bat. But for the most part, no, people are not happy to see me. I face way more rejection than I do like receptive people. But like you said, you genuinely do have no idea what is about to be behind the next door. They could be like the nicest person. They could look at you, scream at you, curse you out, and then slam the door because they don't know what you're doing. Um, I've had it both ways. I've had cops called, I've had crazy dogs, I've had guns pulled, I've had people yelling, cursing, screaming. But I've
Oh,
also had
wow.
people, I mean, it happens, but I've also on the flip side had the most incredible conversations, the most incredible people. Um, and then just kind of one thing I like to do on the side is I always offer to pray for people before I go. If I've had a good conversation, if we've sat down, we've talked a little bit. So whether or not like I make a sale right then and there, that's not really like what matters to me as much as how I can impact somebody, even in the smallest way. Like maybe they're having a really bad day and they kind of take it out on me, right? But better I than, their kids or their spouse or whoever walks across their paths next. Um, I'd rather them take out that frustration on me, um, you know, because I don't want that for anybody. But there's nothing I can, in the end, there's nothing that I can control. So that's like the hardest part about the job that we do here is giving the same light, intentionality, joy, presence, focus, and service on the next person, no matter what just happened, no matter if I've just worked 10 hours and I still haven't sold a thing, if I've just been yelled at and, cast out all day long. That's the kind of thing that like the door to door side of things just like kind of builds that mental endurance.
Do do and I maybe I'm crazy. We all know I am, but one of the things I keep hearing you say, and this is the word that keeps coming to mind, is diplomacy, right? Because you are, as you said just now, you've had people that have been extraordinarily receptive, and you've had people that have slammed the door in your face, and so there's the caveat of of both. And one of the gifts that may be teaching you is when you go from maybe somebody's been really receptive to somebody is not, it changes the way that you learn from the day before, and you say, okay, this may be how I need to approach each one. And then could that be fair? I mean, it's teaching you it's teaching you a lesson just as much as you are trying to do your task. Is that fair?
Oh, absolutely. Every time, I mean, every day I wake up and I thank God for the privilege, the opportunity, and the pleasure to be alive and work and move in this incredible day. Everything I'm about to go face is just a trial, an opportunity, a test for me to test my faithfulness.
Yeah. Oh,
Um, and it's all just a stepping stone to build me into something much greater in God's design. So whether it's someone that is receptive, whether they're very much not receptive, um, it's all planned by God for my good. God works everything together for your good. So there's really nothing to fear in the end.
And I want to dive into your faith a little bit and let's shift gears from just selling the resources. And I want to ask you personally, like, did you grow up in church? Like when, because obviously everybody has a story. Maybe they were in church their whole life, or maybe they became a Christian at 18. Like, were you always in faith, or was there kind of a epitome in your life that brought you to God? If you don't mind speaking about that.
Absolutely. I mean, I grew up in church. I grew up singing the church choir when I was little. Um, but I can definitely say that I never had a solid connection to God of my own, right? I always stuck around it because it was always good people that I was around. There was always, kindness and happiness that I saw in the people in the community of my church. Um, but honestly, it was just this job that really taught me how to actually have a connection with God. Um, And it's just through like the tests and the trials and the opportunities of this kind of job. Um, the only way to, I guess, like build a relationship with God is to look for one. Um, and so like seeing that in all aspects. I mean, everyone's made in God's design, everyone's made in God's image. So like no matter how that person just treated me, they're still one of God's children as well. And it's just it's kind of hard to do this job without God. It really is. Um, because
Mm.
there's so much that I really can't control. There's so much that I really can't um be certain of. And so I mean I've had days where I've I actually had my best week ever in production this week. And two of the days, actually, I had one customer each, and they both canceled on me. So, I mean, it all kinds of evens out. You just can't base your worthiness in what you can't control. So it's all up to God. It's all up to God's plan. Um, that's definitely like I definitely found God in this job last summer by just kind of opening my eyes to it. And then honestly, more so than ever, I was baptized of my own volition this year and have since kind of like t taken that as something that I really like want for myself. It's been a great way in how I lead my relationships. My girlfriend and I, she does this job too. It's definitely helped me grow a lot in the way I see this job. Um, because I mean, even after 1,400 hours of knocking on doors, I was still kind of in the headspace of basing my worthiness off of my production, my units, you know, the things that I can't actually control. And really, it was just a couple weeks ago that I kind of grasped for the first time, just completely putting the pressure off myself. And that's also like the why I keep talking about like service mindedness. It's because the more that I can just genuinely focus on the next person, like to an unparalleled level, like a train could run through the house. And when I'm talking to Mrs. Jones, nothing is going to break my concentration on her story, her needs. Um, and that makes the job a lot more fun whenever you're not worrying about yourself.
And where do you see
Mm.
yourself in the future? Like, do you have like what's your plan for your career, and like where do you see yourself?
So I'm 21. I'm about to go into my last year of university. My plan is after I graduate college, I'm going to move down to Texas with my girlfriend Nicole. She and I are long distance. We met in the company. So I'm going to move down to Texas with her, and then she'll finish her last year of university. And then we'll keep doing this job seasonally in the summertime. But then in the off season, it's like recruiting. Um, but my goal as far as like career and just life plans, aspirations, I don't know what I am going to do, but I do know I'm going to talk for a living. And
Right.
because there's just something that's I've always just been a talker. I've always just loved to speak. I've loved writing. I've loved poetry. I've loved literature. I've loved reading. And and so I think as far as like a career, maybe it's real estate. I'm definitely thinking consulting, or maybe it's just mission work. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I do know that I'm going to be on the phone and meeting people, talking about life. Like I would love to be a consultant and be someone that can impact others. That's all that I really, really want to do with my life is impact others with my ability to speak, um, with my passion for life, because I very much love leadership. I love having an impact on others in the same way that I've had an impact on myself. And for the first chapter of my life, that was bodybuilding in high school. I competed in a bodybuilding competition. I stepped on stage at 18, you know, the Speedo, the tan, the whole thing. Um, I was that kid with my gallon of water and my diet, my lunchbox in high school, and that was my big dream for a long time. And then I found this company, and I fell in love with it last summer. And then coming back, I mean, I've got a first year of mine right here sitting across from me that I recruited, and my brother, I also recruited him. And so like I've loved seeing the impact that I have on these two guys. Um, and actually, I forget sometimes I'm getting paid based off how they do. because it's really not about that. I mean, that's also the intentionality of being present with families that I talk to also translates to the intentionality of being with my with the people in my life, like relationships with my girlfriend, with these guys every night when I get home after 12, 13 hours, sometimes 14 hours of going out and talking to people. Um, then I'm making stat calls and I'm calling my first years and I'm coaching them and I'm getting home. And no matter what happens, it's almost like having kids, like coming home and still giving them my absolute best love and attention. We don't talk about sales or results or units or anything like that comparison wise. We talk about what we're proud of a day and what we're going to work on for tomorrow in the future. And it's just a downstream life. So that's why I equated it earlier to being like a better man, husband, and father, because it's the same kind of intentionality that I practice day in and day out with families that I take home and give to the people who look up to me. So as far as like my career, I just want to impact many people.
Well, I know the pastor and champ over there is probably blown away with the passion you have. And what a
Yeah.
beautiful gift it is that you just follow God's direction to say, I'm going to do this, but wherever He leads me is where I'm supposed to be planted. Champ,
Absolutely.
I just want you to comment because I know you're over there thinking, oh my gosh, this guy is amazing.
Well, I, I do think, and I'm going to use this word strongly. There's not a doubt that there is an anointing on you. There's a difference between a calling and a passion and an anointing. And the reason I say that, and I don't really say that lightly, and I don't want you to take that lightly because from the start of this, it was about the sales and what you do. And then now it's turned into I do this, I love it, but I want more than that to impact people. And the other thing that I kind of captured or it captured my attention was the idea of door to door. So we live in a culture and in a society where the we've moved away from the door to door context because people don't want if your garage door is down, that means I don't want people. And I think it has diminished our ability to be relational. I can text you all day, but seeing you, touching you in some way, or interacting with you in a personal basis is different. And so I know that's a part of the reason as to why I could be way off, but I do believe that's part of it. And I do think there's an anointing because you understand there's a difference between what I do and who I am. And
Mhm.
what I do versus who I am. Who I am is when I come home to these guys or in the future to my wife, all of that doesn't, all of that's got to be put out the door. Um, what they need, what they have encountered, you don't matter. You do matter, but you don't matter in that sense. And so I
It's not
really
about me.
appreciate that kind of understanding. I hope, and my prayer is that you keep that because your words, speaking in front of people, writing the poetry, that doesn't, I mean, that's great and I applaud that. But the aspect of what you just said, when you said, I want to be intentional about the guys that I live with, that I do life with, that was like the switch just turned for me. And relationships are impactful. And I want to put it to you this way, and I kind of preached on this morning. Um, who are the four people that you're taking to Jesus? Or who are the four that are taking you? And so you're taking those two men to him and leaving them there.
Mm.
Uh, and I appreciate that. Um, and so, yeah.
Parker, is there anything that, because obviously we have all ages that watch this podcast. If you could speak to them one thing about what it is to be a champion of Christ, and Champ loves this question, but
Yeah.
what would your uh, I guess, not only advice to someone else about being a champion of Christ or about just succeeding in life, but there's kind of two parts to that. So that part, and then what is your opinion of being a champion in Christ?
I love that question. I really, really do. Um, Before I answer that, I want to touch on something that Mr. Champ just reminded me of, and it's called be, do, have.
Mm,
That's a principle that we've learned in this company. And it's a very old principle. It's been taught in a lot of like leadership conferences. There's like a program called MITT that I went to in California. It
mhm,
means Masters in Transformational Training. But
mm,
the idea of be, do, have says that most people think that they need to have a certain thing to do to do a thing to be whatever. So they need to have this to do this to be happy. They need to have this to do this to be worthy, to be validated, to feel like they're loved. And the thing is, it's the opposite. And even
mm,
sometimes, like that's another thing that like this job can really like, get in your head about in terms of like, we're doing sales. There's a lot of things that we do on a day-to-day basis to, you know, te technically like do better in sales. But before you can do anything, you have to be the person you want to be. So that's what this job teaches me is eh, that I can choose to be that man right now. I can choose to be that husband, that father later on down the line. Right now, um, like that's really all it is. I choose to be that person today. Um, and that's just the character traits that I'm building every single day out here doing this job. That's why I said that this summer for me, this job is just a catalyst for change later on down the line because I'm choosing to be that person. You don't have to you don't need anything else. So like as far as being a champion of Christ, I mean, we're all children of God. We're all made in God's image. We're all moving in God's will. So there's really nothing else that we need. There's nothing to fear. And as long as we are being faithful, he will be fruitful. All I have to do is be faithful, and I will continue to work. And then the things like, the that do comes naturally after that. And then the life that I want, the things to have, that will come later on down the line. So no matter your situation, no matter your age, no matter your profession, your religion, like whatever your situation is, whatever demographic you are, you choosing to be the person you aspire to be today,
mm,
you can already do that through Christ. And so every day I wake up and I thank God for the opportunity and the privilege to be alive and work and move on this day. And I just thank God for the trials and the opportunities and the tests that I get to go through day by day, person by person, door by door, to be that man in the face of adversity, in the face of uncertainty. And so what that looks like on a day-to-day basis for me is when I'm going up to the next door, it's not just like, all right, let's just knock on the door and do my approach and see how receptive they are. Like I am there to serve. I am there with full intentionality that like this person deserves my absolute best love, attention, and respect. And that's like another little principle that we do is I self-talk. I talk to myself all day long. So all these things I've been spitting at you, I've said to myself thousands and thousands and thousands
I
of
love
times.
it. I love it.
And so every time I'm about to go up to the next door, I refocus myself and I remind myself like this person deserves my absolute best. And it's not just like going up there to make the sale and do the right thing. It's being that person that I want to be. And for me, that looks like being a man of just radiant love, joy, lightness. Like sales as a transference of feelings is one thing I said earlier. So, but when I go up to every single person and just imagine yourself as if you just made like $1 million, like, but whatever it is, like if you are just so full of joy and spirit and you're just fulfilled and like full of fire, it just like it comes out of you naturally. You just can't help it. And so that's why like yeah, I can get in this spin of like, oh, I need to be doing this better, I need to be doing that better, I need to say this better to convince people to sit down with me, to convince them to buy. But no, like I know the sales talk, I know the pitch, I know what I'm going to say. But when I go up to every person, I give them my absolute like authentic self. um that is what creates the trust. That's what creates the authenticity. That's how I'm able to connect with people on such a deep emotional level within half an hour. Um, and so what I guess what that looks like for each and every person that listening to this is like whatever your avenue of life is, whatever your profession, whatever if you're like a spouse or if you're a son or whatever whoever you are, you can choose to be the person you want to be because God's already called you to be that person. God's got a plan, God's got a purpose. We're all here for a reason, and we're just moving in God's plan every single day. So there's really nothing to fear. It's a downstream life.
That's awesome. And I want to say to not only thank you for your time to share such, a beautiful message, but just Champ and I both would probably I can speak for him on this, that keep having the attitude you have, because there's going to be times in life where you're going to be like, oh my gosh, it's like all these doors are closing. But it is true that when a door closes, God opens another one, because sometimes he plants us somewhere that maybe is out of our comfort zone, or maybe it is in our comfort zone. But if he's called you there, it's not a mistake. And
Mm.
I just think it's awesome what you're doing, because yeah, it's not just about the sales, it's about becoming the man that you want to be and stay that man. And so I think it's just really incredible, that mindset that you have. And I mean, already at like 21, I mean, some people, you don't have to have it all figured out, but we do need to have it figured out that God has us. And
One
so,
one one last thing that I want to say, just specifically to Parker, but whoever's listening to this, there are two things that I'm a weirdo. So there are two things that I look at in a person. And Heather, I don't even know if I've shared this with you. I may have, but there are two things that I always look at in a person when I meet them. And Parker, I think the reason you'll do well in these kind of places, one is your eyes and one is your smile. Okay, here's why. Because people are looking for genuine authenticity. And they need, just like you said, what do you say that you speak to yourself? That I need to be my true and authentic self to whoever I'm going to right then and there. And the first thing they see is they look in your eyes to see whether or not you are who you say you are. That's where the soul lies. And the second thing is the smile. Do I give off a radiance of joy? Do I give off the radiance of hope? Do I give off the radiance of trust and understanding? And so people, when I say that, that's just weird. That's too intimate. But people are so desperate for true, authentic intimacy now that they would do anything to grab it and to hold on to it. So thank you for that.
And how beautiful it is that I get to go up and meet every single person and tell a mom that she's doing a good job and like tell her that I see her how hard she works for her family and like ask questions about her kids and their future and like what she really wants for them. Like that's why I'm doing this instead of pest control. I mean, I love my job.
I love the joy. I love the joy.
yes. And we, like I said, we so appreciate you coming on here, and we're cheering you on through everything you
I'll be
do.
watching you a little bit stronger from this
Yes.
point forward.
But thank you so much, Parker. It has just been a honor and privilege for us to be able to sit down and talk with you. And Champ will be following you by the time he gets off of this podcast.
I
Parker
will.
the bookman, that's my Facebook.
Parker the bookman. I did look at it last night. I was like, oh, this is good. So, but we appreciate it, and we hope that you enjoyed this episode. And we look forward to being back next week with the next installment of the Champions Podcast. Thank you very much, and have a great week. God bless.